Hey everyone, Eunson here. That was a little preview of a new song that I have coming out next week, featuring a new Ibanez guitar that I've been lucky to get my hands on. Make sure to hit subscribe down below and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss that new video. And make sure to head to my website for my online courses, bundle packages, transcriptions, and of course my music. I recently made a video about what were probably my peak years of practicing guitar, and in case you missed it, you can check it out up here. Turns out there were a lot of questions in the comments section, so I've gone through all of your comments, and today I'm going to answer 10 of your questions. I won't be giving any personalized advice in this video because everyone's journey practicing guitar and playing music is completely different. But what I will do is I'll give you my best answer based on my own personal experience. So what's your schedule for practice nowadays? Well, these days I have a lot less time to practice, so if I had to put a number to it, it'd be more like 3 or 4 hours practice a day. The bulk period of practice that I talked about in my previous video started when I was 17, so in my experience I've had less time to practice as the years have gone on. So what I tend to do is go over various scales and arpeggios in various combinations, and I find that in a period of about 3 or 4 hours I can go through all of these materials enough to keep my playing pretty well oiled, so to speak. Which guitar is that? Well, this guitar, which I have right here, is the Ibanez AM153QA, and I've been playing it all year this year and I absolutely love it. I actually did a video where I talk about all that you can do with this great guitar, and if you missed that, you can check it out up here. This one might be more of a statement or a general comment rather than a question, but I think it's an interesting one, so let's have a look at it. The best professional guitarists practice 3 to 4 hours per day. As the examples show, 3 to 4 hours should be enough. Well, I think that can depend upon many factors, especially what type of approach you're trying to take musically. In my case, I really wanted to become a fluent improvising soloist on guitar. And from all of the examples that were presented to me, I knew that I was going to have to do a lot of practice to achieve what I wanted to achieve on the instrument. Some years ago, in my own formative years, I remember reading on Pat Metheny's website that between sitting with the guitar and also sitting at the piano learning music theory and harmony, Pat would estimate that he practiced about 10 to 12 hours a day. And in fact, that quote is still on his website, which you can all check out. So I'm certainly not comparing myself to Pat Metheny in any way, shape or form, not at all. But I do remember reading that quote when I was a teenager, and really for someone who plays and composes, performs at the incredibly high level that Pat does, I'd say that he's a pretty great example. Did you track your practice in a notebook? I certainly did. I had a yearly planner, diary, book. I would log my practice every day. And though I don't do as much practice now as I once did, I still log all of my work in a planner just the same. Many thanks for those wise words. Oh, thank you. I myself unfortunately started guitar very late in my adult life. I wish I could have before. What would you recommend to practice if I have limited time? Practice routine for someone who wants to learn impro. Oh well, firstly, thank you so much. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. I think that one of the great beauties of music itself is that regardless of when you picked up your instrument or how you approach music, it takes all of us on a different journey. In the best case scenario, I think you end up making music that reflects your journey and ends up forming your musical identity. And I think that that occurs probably regardless of the age at which you began. In instances where I've only had, say, 30 minutes to an hour to practice on a given day, and this is a very real scenario that I think we all encounter at some point, I generally tend to pick one topic and just focus on that. For example, arpeggios. I might just pick one type of arpeggio, for example, a major 7 arpeggio, and just look at it in even one key and try to play it in as many places on the guitar neck. You get a lot more done than trying to fit 10 topics into 30 minutes. But really, is there any purpose to getting better just for the sake of getting better? Well, I would say that I was trying to get better at playing guitar for the sake of music, not just for the sake of playing guitar or playing fast. If you want to do those things, that's great, but At the end of the day, I think we're playing to play music, and with a bit of luck, make a connection with anyone who wants to listen. Must be fun to practice 8 hours a day when you're already world-class level at 22 years old. Wow, I don't know about that. Got any recordings from your first year learning? Well, my first year learning was when I was 10 years old, and I don't have any recordings from that period. I was trying to strum Heart of Gold by Neil Young. That was really what I was trying to do. I don't really want to make you sit through any more old recordings of mine, and I don't necessarily want to sit through them myself either. But I did find one from when I was 19, playing through what is essentially a C minor blues, a familiar set of chord changes that some of you might recognize. And why don't we listen through this one together, because this was sort of right in the middle of those peak practice years of mine. That's probably enough. You can hear that I was working a lot of stuff out over the changes, and in the end it's great to have old archived recordings of your own playing so that you can keep track of your progress and see how you're going. What brought you to Boston? Was it Berkeley? Actually, it was New England Conservatory, but I had a lot of friends who were over at Berkeley, and I played with musicians from NEC and also Berkeley all the time. Hi Ben, you have a very appreciative work here on YouTube. Thanks for sharing. Oh, thank you for watching. I'm 14 years old, I'm a musician, I have time to study, but how do I make the study not get tiring and not lose focus? Another question, to study improvisation, do I put a track to improvise or just go playing what comes? Great questions. I'm not really able to give personalized advice on how to approach practice because it really is so different for everyone. But what I can do is I can tell you how I like to maintain my focus these days. And the first thing that I do is make sure that I keep my phone away from me. The phones that pretty much all of us have these days can be an amazing way of connecting with people, an amazing way of getting music out there, and they can do so many great things. But when you're trying to focus on something, especially music practice, I've noticed from my own experience that the phones can really break your focus. And that's the most important thing, not to have your focus broken. So perhaps it's just a matter of balance. Using the phone for what you really need it for and keeping it away from you when you don't need it so much. In my case, if I'm practicing, I put the phone face down on the other side of the room, or I put it in the other room, with the phone screen being out of my direct line of sight. I'm not distracted by any notifications, and I can maintain my focus in terms of whatever it is that I'm working on. Also, I've noticed that if I have a computer near me while I'm practicing, I like to line up any backing tracks or play-alongs so that they're ready to go and I can use them. And then I turn the Wi-Fi off so I'm not distracted by any notifications on screen. And to answer your second question, yes, backing tracks can be really helpful. Can he have some time to live? Yes, I had a pretty serious practice routine when I was younger, and I still practice and work a lot now. But sometimes you do have to take time to live in order to, I think, help the creativity of your actual musical expression. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I have a lot of new playing videos, mini lessons, and a whole lot more coming up. So make sure to hit subscribe down below and click the bell for notifications. And check out my online courses, bundle packages, transcriptions, and everything else at my website. Thanks again for all your great questions. I'll see you next time.